dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me. You're stronger now than you ever been. You gotta leave now, it's time to catch the wind. You will climb up high and look through the clouds, and when you're feeling low, I know you'll bounce back. Oh, and just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call me. Just call me. Just call me. Just call me.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a thrilling night of virtual racing action here on iRacing. I'm Dave Regal, making a special appearance, the voice of Thursday night Racers Elite Cup Series action here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and I'm excited to bring you all the live coverage from the legendary Talladega Superspeedway. Tonight, the Racers Elite Truck Series promises to be a showcase of skill, strategy, and sheer speed as some of the best sim racers from around the world go head-to-head in this highly competitive environment. iRacing is where the virtual meets the real, offering an incredibly immersive experience that mirrors the intensity and precision of actual motorsports. The drivers have put in countless hours of practice, perfecting every turn and mastering the art of virtual racing. The track is digitally rendered to perfection, capturing every bump, curve, and straightaway, setting the stage for what promises to be an electrifying race. I'll be bringing you all the action from start to finish, including expert analysis, driver interviews, and in-depth commentary on the strategies at play. From daring overtakes to split-second decisions, every moment counts, and I'll be here to guide you through it all, from the green flag to the checkered flag, right here on Sim Racing Media. And folks, thank you for having me with you here for the Racers Elite Truck Series. Of course, I am the voice of Thursday night Racers Elite Cup Series action, and unfortunately, due to some really horrifically unforeseen circumstances, Alan Bergen not able to be alongside with me here in the broadcast booth tonight, and it looks like my work wife, Matt Metler, decided he wants to go racing tonight, so he's out here right now sitting P10 as we get ready to roll at the 2.66-mile Talladega Superspeedway. Folks, I have not been this excited to get an emergency call, saying, hey, listen, I need help now. Well, I'm here, and I'm here to help. As 72 degrees in the grandstand here at Talladega. Of course, 97 degrees on the asphalt. That's going to be the telltale sign right there. As, of course, that 97 degrees is just about the witching hour when it comes to grip on the asphalt. So it's going to be exciting, all things considered. And we're ready to rock and roll finally. As, we get ready to run here. 75 laps the scheduled distance tonight. Driver's going to have a few sets of tires here. As, all things considered, these guys are just downright incredible. I love watching these guys race in the Cup Series on Thursday nights. And now here we are, Alex Teft in the number 43 Home Depot Chevrolet Silverado going out, finishing his first lap here. He's about halfway through. Blair Holloman, last week's winner in the Truck Series, getting himself cranked up right now, as well as Blair was able to tame the Lady in Black Darlington Raceway up there in South Carolina. And, one of the things we have to remember here about Talladega is that start-finish line is actually down beyond the apex of the tri-oval, as looks like Teft is going to go nowhere on his opening lap. Interesting, as that didn't register just yet. So either he's having a bad time there, might have rubbed the wall, you never know. As now he's kind of wrapped up here around the top of the racetrack, which is not the preferred line for speed, as he gets underway. Sean Merriman, he's out here on his opening lap, as well as brother Andrew Teft. So the Teft brothers out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island, getting themselves settled in tonight. Brandon Sanfilippo in the 12 truck, now getting himself all ready to rock and roll here. Of course, the names are the same. Some of the numbers might be a little different for those of you that tune in on a Thursday, and I'm just glad that I can at least pronounce and know most of these names, as Jason Burdick here in the 23 goes fourth fastest on the timing line. Jesse Fox, though, in the 69 goes top time with 55.1 seconds even on our timing tower, as Alex Teft here in the 43 goes 20th fastest. Andrew Teft, meanwhile, not exactly the same story, as he goes third fastest. So the Teft brothers going to be starting at either end of this race field tonight. As we take a look here, I'll tell you what, Alex Teft usually in a pretty sharp paint scheme, and the Home Depot machine looking fantastic here with that Toyota Tundra look to the car, to the truck that is, as Winchester, Virginia's Sean Merriman goes third fastest. That bumps Andrew Teft into fourth position, so he'll start on the outside of row number 2. Alex Teft right now goes 21st, with Rob Yost and Dennis Kane deciding not to qualify. And quite frankly, I mean, you can't blame them. Sometimes at a place like this, you kind of want to stay out of the way, don't cause any problems, and avoid the problems that could be, which we see way too often at a place like this. Taking a look at our point standings, Blair Holloman leads the way now, as he's got 3 wins out of 4 starts. That is impressive. Andrew Teft is running P2 right now. Dennis Kane hops up into third position on our point standings. But the big mover last week was Sean Dunaway in running now in 8th position, hopping up 9, while Lee Campbell drops down 11 spots out of 3rd all the way back into 14th slot. And, of course, the only other driver to win a race here in the Truck Series this season is Brandon Sanfilippo. He's got 1 on the year. And, Sanfilippo, I've seen him in the Cup Series. I know that he can get it done, and he's the kind of driver that can. but unfortunately just did not do well with some of that, as he won, of course, the truck race at Homestead, Miami back on June 11th. Didn't run last week or the last couple. But, listen, Sanfilippo's still a very strong driver as we get ready to wrap up qualifying just a couple of seconds ago as everybody's sliding into their cars. We'll take a look here at the top 12. Of course, 23 drivers going to take the green flag tonight. 75 laps the scheduled distance. Jesse Fox going to sit here on pole position. Blair Holloman, Sean Merriman, and Andrew Teft going to be in the top 2 rows tonight. And let's take the time to get on down here and peek here at our drivers as we prepare to get underway. Jesse Fox going to be starting on the front row here in the number 69 Sunoco Ultra Chevrolet Silverado. He'll be joined by another Chevrolet driver out of Middletown, Pennsylvania, Blair Holloman, on the front row. Middletown not too far away from here, about an hour and a half, 2 hours. As Sean Merriman from Winchester, Virginia, going to sit there's. Guys, I really wish everybody had hopped into their motor vehicles, if you will, as we now get a chance to look here at the 32 Goodwrench machine of Blair Holloman. Now Sean Merriman hops in the Papa Sean's, I like it, Papa Sean's number 18 Toyota TRD Tundra. Andrew Teft from Hope Valley, Rhode Island, in the Road Ranger number 98 is going to be followed by Jason Burdick and Philip Archibald in row number 3. Kyle Hess out of Memphis, Tennessee, going to be joined on row number 4 with Brandon Honeycutt out of Elizabethton, Tennessee, while row 5 and rounding out your starting top 10 is going to be Rowan Lloyd and Kirby Wainscott in the finger-licking good number 10 out of Sparta, Kentucky. Tyler Smith going to be starting in row number 6 on the inside with Curtis Ecker in a very bright green number 19 out of South Williamsport, Pennsylvania, starts in 12th position. Alex Teft from Hope Valley, Rhode Island, and Brandon Sanfilippo going to be in row number 7, while Kensley Smith and my brother from another mother, Mr. Matt Metler, going to be back here in row number 8. Truth Hoke and Trevor Woodward are going to be in row 9, while Rob Yost and Troy Thomas going to be here in row 10. Sean Dunaway and Dennis Kane going to be starting shotgun on the field tonight. Of course, that throwback Gatorade logo there in the 01. We can talk about that a little bit later. And the Carhartt number 4 out of Detroit, Michigan. So 23 drivers is the set field tonight. Jesse Fox going to lead the way as we peek at these guys coming through turns 1 and 2. And listen, 2.66 miles, crazy amounts of banking. It takes 70 miles an hour just to stay on the banking without sliding downward. As we watch these drivers coming out of turn 2 and down the backstretch, this is my favorite racetrack on the circuit, of course, where Dale Earnhardt Jr. had such success when I was growing up as a young NASCAR fan. And, of course, that's where I fell in love with this sport, watching Talladega and watching Dale Jr. in that number 8 Bud car driven for DEI. Just absolutely dominating here for a few years. As we see the iRacing.com pace truck bringing us into turn number 3. We want to thank everybody for tuning in wherever you may be and however you may be listening. As I see Zachary Gallo saying hello, and the Allen Experience acknowledging that I'm a stud, and you're darn tootin' I am, sir, as I'm here to bail you out. I can't, and here's the thing, I might not be able to get you out of jail and bail you out, but I'll put money on your books. I'll take care of you, buddy. Don't worry. As we see these 23 trucks making their way out of turn number 4, and remember, this is a very long time here on the super speedway between when the pace truck dips down pit road and when we get to the start-finish line. The excitement's building. The drivers are getting ready. They're ready. They're waiting. The only thing that's left to do is it's time to wipe the visor and adjust the 5-point harness. Grandma, grab some popcorn, call a friend, and settle in. Race fans, it's showtime! Already making progress here is the low line. Of course, the top line here, the high side at Talladega, usually going to be kind of a feeder line. Drivers are going to be able to shove one another up here. You can see the 98 of Andrew Teft pushing hard against the 32 of Blair Holloman. and Holloman sliding back. But once that high line gets some momentum, they're basically going to be shoveling one another up here to try to get around the 69 of Jesse Fox, who currently leads this race, being pushed by Sean Merriman. These two lines aren't going to be making too many crazy moves, and keep in mind that if they do, and there goes Merriman, as I say, don't make any crazy moves, and Merriman thinks that he's going to try to get some kind of a crazy run from behind out of Blair Holloman, as Holloman pushes the 18 of Merriman through the tri-oval and down toward the start-finish line. And now Sean Merriman looks to see if he can maybe try to get around our race leader, Jesse Fox, who's got a draft partner in the form of Jason Burdick in the Shoney's Big Boy Toyota Tundra. I'm sorry, Shoney's Big Boy Ford F-150. My sincerest apologies to the fine folks at Toyota. As I mentioned, 75 laps here tonight. I think we're going to see probably, 2 pit stops max, as these drivers got about, 30 laps, give or take, on a set of tires. We may start to see some of the mad scientist, moves coming. Speaking of which, there's the 13 of Brandon Honeycutt trying to step out of line. Here's the thing. This is the kind of place where if you get caution plague, that can really extend your fuel mileage versus, if you go green this whole time. This leader up here, Jesse Fox in the 69, he is right now just a fuel pig. I mean, right now, Jason Burdick's probably not even full throttle, as we're going to go on board with Jason. And we can see Jason giving a good draft here to the rear end of Fox. And right now, Jason is full throttle, but we're going to see him back off just a pinch. And there it is, just a little bit. He's able to back off the 69. Trouble is going to come if these guys don't try to give each other a little bit of well-deserved room, that's for sure. As we work lap number 3 of 75. Wow, cutting off the nose of Jesse Fox is Blair Holloman now in the 32, as your race leader suddenly becomes Sean Merriman. Fast time of the race right now goes to Truth Hoke at 50.55 seconds, and wow, you got to start to watch Jesse Fox here. They're getting a little dicey behind him as we start to look back through the field. These drivers, they've got to be patient as we work through here. I mean, this is not your average racetrack. This thing is an animal. It's an organism, and if you think that you can tame the line with nothing but a whip and a stool, you are going to be sorely mistaken here at Talladega Superspeedway. Watching the 55 here. Watching the 55 of Truth Hoke try to work his way back up through the field, as Hoke right now runs in 21st. Kind of backed off and gave some space here to the 4, that's Dennis Kane. As we look here out the back of Kyle Hess's truck, I didn't realize that my microphone was muted just a moment ago. We can see all of the traffic that is just swirling around these drivers, whether it's here out the front windshield. They are 3 wide ahead of him. This is going to be dangerous, as all of a sudden drivers deciding to take their lives into their own hands. Here's Jason Burdick's perspective in the 23 as he is just ahead of Brandon Honeycutt in the 13 as they are 3 wide, 2 rows deep, nearly making it 3, and all of a sudden this middle line has all kinds of steam and they suddenly want to see how far up they can push. Watch that middle line that's right now anchored by the 12 of Brandon Sanfilippo as Sanfilippo starts to close the gap between himself and Brandon Honeycutt. So a pair of Brandons trying to push along the 23 of Jason Burdick as Burdick going to get a nice healthy bump here from Brandon Honeycutt. We're going to look out the rear bumper of Burdick, and we can see Brandon Honeycutt giving him the shove that he needs, and now all of a sudden that 3 wide situation starting to cool itself down here on the racetrack 8 laps into this race. You don't usually see that early on, especially in this league. They take really good care to make sure that, oh, here they go! There goes the 55 of Truth Hoke, and boom goes the proverbial dynamite. Let's take a look and see what happened as we are under our first caution of the night, just like that. You can see the 99 getting all kinds of loose behind Andrew Teft. The 99 kisses the wall, comes back down, and what it does is it turns the 55 sideways and basically turns it into a parachute. So let's see if we can maybe look at that from a different perspective. How about the nose here, the 55? And you know, the worst part is Truth Hoke, he looks out the rear view. He has no place to go. He's just got to kind of hold on and hope that nothing bad happens with the 99. My goodness. And, you know, he had no place that he could have gone in that situation. There was no way for him to slow down, check up, or do anything like that. That's for sure. As they come down, as they come back down and get caught up with the iRacing.com pace car. Here they come once again. Here comes the literally just the crowd of cars, and we can see this starting to break through. Oh, that has got to be upsetting. But fortunately, there are a couple of faster pairs in this league. As we're going to look one more time here out of the turn 2 exit at that wreck. Here they come, and right before our very eyes, they're going to, oh, wow. Hope the cameraman's okay down there, as we're going to have wholesale pit stops pretty early in this race, just 9 laps in the books as we go back live. Looks like Jason Burdick going to lead the way down pit road in the 23. Only one driver not coming down, that's Andrew Teft, who suddenly has decided he wants to stay out here as we look down for Jason Burdick to come off of pit road. It's going to be an interesting run to get himself off as we see the Shoney's big boy machine come off of pit road. Blair Holloman making the exit off of pit road. Everybody now trying to do the same thing. Here comes Archie in the 99. Of course, he was the driver that kind of caused a little bit of this. We don't want to ascribe any blame, but you know, basically once the 99 got loose, it sucked up, you know, the 55 of Truth Hoke into him, and just bad things happen. Ten laps in the books here. We want to thank everybody for tuning into the YouTube.com live chat as Elizabeth Harker says, "Go Jesse," and Zachary Gallo giving us his salutations and greetings. As we are 10 laps in here for the Racers Elite Cup Series, Dave Regal making a cameo appearance here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth as we have brought our show on the road to Lincoln, Alabama tonight, the home of Talladega Superspeedway, as Alan Bergen dealing with, quite frankly, a pain in the butt. Keep him in your thoughts and prayers because he's currently trying to deal with and mitigate some of the problems that come along with hurricane remnants running through his neighborhood there just outside of St. Louis. So I'm sure he'd rather be here, especially when the alternative is getting, your basement pumped out. That's for sure. Sean Merriman leads the way with Lee Campbell, Jesse Fox, Jason Burdick, and Brandon Honeycutt, your top 5. The lights are out on the iRacing.com pace car as we get ready to restart here on what will be lap number 12. You'll have to forgive me for the delay there. Of course, dealing with a resident where I work who thinks that he knows more than me about air conditioning, so that's always fun. As Sean Merriman going to lead us back to the green flag, he'll be joined by Lee Campbell, Jesse Fox, Jason Burdick, and Brandon Honeycutt. We hit the Geico restart zone. Sean Merriman drops the hammer, and off we go here on lap number 12. Merriman starting to try to get that low line some momentum here as he's going to be helped along by Jesse Fox with the 23 of Jason Burdick shoving the 14 of Lee Campbell on the high side. Looking here from the nose on board the 23 of Jason Burdick, we can see that he's really trying to give it here to the Warren Tire Service Center, number 14, driven by Lee Campbell. But right now, that low side has gotten their act together, and all of a sudden, they are going to be your fast line for the time being. But rolling out of 4, all of a sudden, Burdick has a ton of momentum as he gets up here. Now, the question becomes in all of these situations, once the 14 gets up here to the lead as he's pushed by Jason Burdick, does the 14 abandon the 23, or do they, yep, there it is. Does the 14 abandon the 23 and leave him on the high side, or does he wait until the 23 is clear of the 18? To me, I feel like that's just the polite thing to do. Wow! This isn't going to be fun. As the 14 steps out of line, all of a sudden that really screws up the momentum of the low side. It causes Brandon Honeycutt to scamper up here to the high line. Brandon Honeycutt didn't want to lose the momentum that he had. He now gets in the line behind Kyle Hess in the 68 Black Rifle Coffee Chevrolet Silverado, as now it goes Campbell, Burdick, Merriman, Sanfilippo, and Hess, your top 5. All of that goes on back here while Blair Holloman, who won last week at Darlington, now sits in 12th position, kind of hanging out and, creeping around Sean Dunaway. And as we look from Dunaway back here, we can see a fairly decent gap, just about, 200th of a second at this kind of speed. And now we can start to see Holloman working his way forward, and we're going to watch this speed here. As right now we're running about 186, and all Holloman needs is a nice little bump from behind, and we can see him almost getting that we get to about 190. There it is, just before entering turn number 3. Now, if Holloman stays in the throttle, and he does, he's going to be gaining speed coming out of 4 here as we roll back onto the front stretch toward the tri-oval. All of a sudden, we see a little bit more momentum here pick up from the 32 as Holloman trying to get linked back up with this lead pack. Here he goes at 184, closing in slowly here in the 01 of Sean Dunaway, and Dunaway is not about to unglue his bumper from where he is right now, just behind Rowan Lloyd. Here comes Holloman rolling out of 2, and it looks like every time I think he's going to get that run, and here it comes, it's almost like he loses support from behind, and Rob Yost in the 00. Trevor Woodward driving the number 6 Budweiser Chevrolet. As we look from high above now, we can see everybody kind of gapping themselves out here. That's going to spell trouble for later on in this race because, I mean, quite frankly, you want to be bunched up like the front, like this front 6, 7 up here. You want to be as close to as close as possible to one another. I mean, look, you can see it right here in the speed difference. We're 186 at the line. It's going to be 191 and then some going into turn 1 as we get rocking and rolling here tonight. 16 laps of 75 in the books. Lee Campbell leads the way just ahead of Sean Merriman and Jason Burdick, as Burdick now is kind of waiting here for a shove from Brandon Sanfilippo on the high side. Not really sure what they think they're going to accomplish here. They're going to have to start to hold together a little bit more. And even as we look further back here, just behind the 01, Kyle Hess and company here in this second group. And now we look just a little bit deeper, and there are 2 very defined packs here on the racetrack. Trevor Woodward kind of anchoring that second one alongside of Rob Yost as they get ready to collect the 32 of Blair Holloman. Now, once they get close enough to Holloman, that's going to give Holloman the shove that he needs, so to speak, to get himself up here to the rear end of the 01. Sean Dunaway here as he runs here in the 01. He's got to be sitting here wondering, when's somebody going to make a move? And quite frankly, it's too soon to tell. This early in a race at Talladega, you don't want to get too crazy because you don't want to wreck your stuff, whether you have a fast repair in your pocket or not. Try to save that as long as humanly possible, and then let her rip, in those last, 4 to 5 laps. Lee Campbell in the 14 machine, your new race leader, getting a nice bump from Jesse Fox as we go on board with Fox. Fox now giving a shove here with Jason Burdick on the high side. Fox out of Jasper, Indiana, doing very well right now, the 55-year-old. As we look off to the right, we can start to see some more of that momentum that we saw earlier building on the high line out of Brandon Sanfilippo. And of course, we look forward here to Jason Burdick, who now is exchanging the lead back and forth with Lee Campbell as we watch our camera operator swing the camera behind. These drivers are being patient. It's almost like they're standing in line at an amusement park, for a brand new ride, and nobody wants to miss that first run. As we look a little further back here, Sean Merriman getting himself all kinds of out of line here, now dropping to the rear of the field, making it 3 wide for a few moments as he gets ready to tuck in behind Truth Hoke in the 55. Matt Metler deciding to put it on the hauler early after just 17 laps. Not sure what brought him down there, unless we're going to say that was weather. It's entirely possible for Matt, as everybody of course, it seems like everybody in the Southeast Midwest is dealing with leftovers from this hurricane that's down there. 20 laps in the books, just about a third of the way through this race. Dave Regal with you here in the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth. We saw some pit stops happen earlier after that first caution, around lap 9 and 10, so now we're just about that same distance here. The question becomes, when do they want to come down, and does that early pit stop enable some of these drivers to now make this a one green flag stop race? You know, are they going to be able to squeeze the fuel out of their respective cars, well, trucks in this particular case, as far as they need to go? And I mean, realistically, you got to get to about 37 and a half laps before you can really start thinking about, now I've made it to halfway. Single file they go right now, all the way back here through at least 9th position right now, as leading that high line for the time being is Kirby Wainscott in the finger-licking good number 10, getting a good shove here from Sean Merriman. But right now, Kirby Wainscott, it may be finger-licking good, but he's hoping that Merriman gives it the old hawk to get themselves back up there into contention for that lead position. Right now is stepping out of line once again. I believe that to be, oh my goodness, I believe that to be the 14 of Lee Campbell. As we work here, Kensley Smith in the 15. He's got the Napa Auto Parts Chevrolet Silverado cranked up to crazy behind Brandon Honeycutt, as Burdick leads the race now with 9 cars and now more. Back to Trevor Woodward, 11, 12 cars were all just single file riding together, and now all of a sudden a couple of them, it's like they suddenly counted down 3, 2, 1, go to form the new high line, as they're going to invite the 99 of Philip Archibald to try to come and join them. We ride along with Archibald here. He's got a lot of distance between himself, about 3/10 of a second. Now it takes about a 7/10 of a second distance to start getting into someone's draft, and it takes a bump from behind to try to really catch up to them, as we ride here behind Troy Thomas and Sean Dunaway, as Thomas here on the right-hand side of the Fanatec machine holds his line, and he's starting to look in the rearview mirror and realize that Archie is coming for him. I see here a viewer, Madison, asking about the last accident. That was covered, as we've only had one caution so far tonight for cause. Right now working lap number 25, as the yellow flag was somewhere. You can run the tape back here to about lap number 8. That'll take care of business for you, as the caution flag came out on lap 8. Now the 99 of Philip Archibald trying to hitch his wagon to the rear end of Troy Thomas in the 8 machine. And it looks a little bit weird, where I feel like the 8 machine should, the number 8 should be on the side of the Budweiser car, that's for sure. As right now it's going to be the 6, 8, and 99 on the top row. And all of a sudden, the 18 here, where did he disappear to? Sean Merriman gets ready to make this 3 wide, as he's holding onto that middle line for dear life. He said, "You can pry this from me from my cold, dead hands." And quite frankly, everybody's looking at him right now going, you know what, we're going to give you, look at that, a lot of room. He's going to lose a lot of aero push here And he's going to, a rub of the wall. Here comes the 99 loosening up, getting into line. Now the 99 almost unintentionally giving a little bit of drafting help to the 18 as we go back up here to the 18 that now muscles his way just alongside of Tyler Smith in the 77 to crawl ahead of Trevor Woodward. Want to thank everybody once again for tuning in. Lap number 27. As things have calmed down here on the racetrack, we're going to step aside and pay some bills on Sim Racing Media. I'm Dave Regal here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, and we'll be right back after these messages.
To the outside line, he breaks so much later. Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second part, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around, we're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Frisch on the bottom.
Richard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line. Who is going to get it?
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Welcome back to Talladega Super Speedway as the Racers Elite Truck Series is about to have mass pit stops coming in, as right now it looks like it's going to be wholesale from everybody from Kensley Smith all the way back here through at least Philip Archibald in 20th position. Just 3 drivers remaining out on the racetrack right now. That's Curtis Ecker, Kirby Wainscott, and Alex Teft, as Sean Merriman leads the way down pit road that was almost like they had all just decided, okay, everybody, 1, 2, 3. In fact, let's see if we can find the first time that they decided to start coming on down. Here comes Merriman, as we're going to watch everybody all of a sudden pull out the parachute, boom, and leave everybody else out on the racetrack, just those few drivers that will now stay on the lead lap, as this place is so big that unless they can get all the way around and they're just going to make it out, all of a sudden the distance from third back to fourth goes to 50 seconds, but now Ecker, Wayne Scott, and Teft all run together. They're all going to come down pit road as Curtis Ecker leads the way. Now the question is, can Kensley Smith get all the way back around before those drivers are done being serviced on pit road? Here's the finger-licking good number 10 Toyota Tundra. Almost called it a super. That was last night for the Sunday Night NASCAR Xfinity Series League. We were over at Chicago, and of course Parker Retzlaff, yes, that Parker Retzlaff, brought home another checkered flag and goes 4 in a row now. Kensley Smith coming around, waiting to see how far back Alex Teft and Kirby Wayne Scott can go as they hold on for dear life. Kensley Smith, now your race leader, being pushed along by Brandon Honeycutt and Kyle Hess in the 68. Dennis Kane runs in the 4 truck, and as we look out the rear, we can see there's a lot of distance between himself and Sean Merriman, as Merriman now gets pushed along by the 01 of Sean Dunaway. As we ride along with Dunaway, we can see nothing but rear bumper on Sean Merriman's number 18 Toyota Tundra as they work their way through the tri-oval. And of course, everybody wants to know, why is the start-finish line here beyond the apex of the tri-oval at Talladega? Well, the idea is that Big Bill France, when they built this racetrack, he wanted to be able to sell more seats down toward turn 1. I mean, usually you can really cram people in at the start-finish line, but if you're going to sell the whole grandstand out, do you want to watch pit road or do you want to watch the start-finish line? So he was able to extend the easily sellable seats by moving the start-finish line down beyond the apex of the tri-oval, and that is where the legend of the deep start-finish line comes from here at Talladega Superspeedway in Lincoln, Alabama. Rob Yost Jr. here leading the second pack is right now Lee Campbell leading the second pack as Rob Yost Jr. almost locked onto the bumper of the 14. Works his way here on lap number 35. We're just about at halfway tonight. I want to thank everybody for tuning in with us. As always, it's a joy to be with you here on iRacing.com and, of course, live on YouTube.com. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. As Kensley Smith, your race leader, leads Brandon Honeycutt, Kyle Hess, Dennis Kane, and Sean Merriman in the top 5, as Merriman and Sean Dunaway are now moving in ever closer to get linked back up with this front pack. Kensley Smith leads the way. No challenge from Brandon Honeycutt as we're going to look back here to Rob Yost in the 00 as he's being shoved along by Blair Holloman. And, of course, the 98 of Andrew Teft. As Teft is down a lap, so he's kind of waiting for something to happen here. Maybe get that lucky dog position. He last came in on lap number 30 along with Rowan Lloyd on 29. Matt Metler puts it on pit road after just 16.36 laps tonight. So not sure where my work wife is, but Matt Metler decides that he's got to bow out here from the 311. In fact, I may have to text him later and see what's going on with him, as Kensley Smith is our race leader here on lap number 37. And at 37.5, we will have reached the halfway point here at Talladega. riding along here as we're going to go on board with Alex Teft in the 43 out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island. He follows Blair Holloman, of course, just won another race last week at Darlington Raceway. The track too tough to tame was no match for Holloman, as now all of a sudden Teft is kind of back here just babying it along. He's got to stay off of that yellow line, though. That transfer between the apron and the racing surface here is just this side of horrific, as Alex Teft now drafts up to the rear of Blair Holloman. Kirby Wainscott sitting behind Alex Teft, watching from behind, holding the finger-licking good number 10 KFC Toyota out of Sparta, Kentucky, just in perfect line. You don't see any wiggle out of him, even while, Alex Teft is kind of, binking and bobbing here. All of a sudden, Kirby Wainscott is suddenly zen perfect, holding it steady here just ahead of Curtis Ecker. Of course, one of the things that we're talking about tonight here is the fact that yours truly, the voice of Sunday Night NASCAR and the voice of Thursday Night Racers Elite Cup Series action, making a cameo appearance here in the Truck Series, as, of course, Alan Bergen dealing with some hurricane issues where he's got, wow, look at the 13 pushing the bejesus out of Kensley Smith. He's almost bending that rear bumper in on the 15. But Alan Bergen not able to make tonight's race due to literally water in his basement, and it looked downright ugly. So he reached out to me, and I thought, you know what? Why not? As, of course, usually the Tuesday Night Thunder trucks that I call on a Tuesday, they are off tonight. Of course, we mirror the real-life NASCAR schedule in the SNN Family of Racing series, so you can tune in with me on prime time Sunday evenings at 7:30 p.m. right here on Sim Racing Media. We want to thank all of you for helping us get to 4,000 subscribers. Of course, that triggered a whole lot of cool things on Sim Racing Media here with YouTube. And, of course, Alan Bergen, who we were just talking about, we had a come-to-Jesus moment with him, and he drank his very first Yuengling Flight. It was his very first Yuengling beer ever, so at least he suddenly decided to come to Jesus and kneel at the altar of Dick Yuengling. Then this coming Sunday, yours truly will be tipping back my very first Anheuser-Busch product, which does not excite me in the least. Quite frankly, I'm a big fan of the captain who's in the cup tonight, keeping things loose and running here at Talladega. Then also on August 25th, yours truly going to be putting the racing gloves back on, coming out of retirement for one night, as I will be running in the SNN Cup Series Coke 0400 at Daytona International Speedway. And we will this month and over the next couple of weeks have a lot of giveaways here on YouTube.com. So, folks, make sure that you tune in, and as many broadcasts as you can, just keep an ear open for when we start our giveaways of SRM merch right here. And, quite frankly, we're excited to be able to share a lot of this with you folks as we look forward to our October trip to Miami, Florida, which is our yearly retreat that we can all sit there and come up with some more great ideas for next year's racing series that, of course, we call so many nights a week, whether it's here in the Racers Elite Cup Series or literally, 18 other races per week. And we'll get into that right now, as a matter of fact. Of course, here we are on Tuesday. I'm here for the Truck Series, and then later on tonight, the XMS Extreme Series is going to be Liam and Jordan. And Liam is one of the greatest at the ones and twos and everything in between, so make sure that you hang out with my buddy Liam Mervig. And then, of course, tonight, your nightcap is the Western States Racing League going live at 10:20 Eastern. Wednesday night going to be, of course, that's tomorrow night. Wednesday night going to be the Roughneck Racing Series. Racers Elite will be back once again with the Xfinity Series. And the Extreme Cup Series is going to be tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Eastern. Then Thursday, I'm the only game in town as the voice of the Racers Elite Cup Series comes to you live at 7:30 on Thursday. Friday we're off, as most guys like to try to have a little night off here in the middle of the week. And finally on Saturday, the ISNF Cup Series goes live at 5:30 p.m. Eastern with Liam, Mike, and Alan, and the ECR Series is, of course, also at 9 p.m. You get Liam for a doubleheader that day and Emily Urias, as we look forward to Sunday night, where Matt Metler and I are the only game once again in prime time right here on YouTube.com. So we want to thank everybody for keeping us afloat here at Sim Racing Media, keeping everybody tuned in. And I'll tell you what, it is just a great event to go hang out with down there at Homestead Miami Raceway. I encourage everybody, if you can, to hop on a plane and get on down there to the Sunshine State, because October is a gorgeous time to be in Florida. Not too hot, not too cold. You can still get yourself a nice little tan there. And the food over there, I'm just telling you right now, is incredible at that racetrack. What an experience. It is a true event, and, all of South Florida turns out for that. Riding along here with Rob Yost in the 00, looking back at his pusher. That's the 98 of Andrew Teft. Teft is currently 22nd in the standings right now. As we look here from just above, now this is Harrisburg, Pennsylvania. Rob Yost representing the 717 tonight. And Yosty, he's out here trying to hold his own above the 98. And quite frankly, I think that we can now understand why Teft has decided maybe he can afford to go down a lap, as we are basically 30 to go next time by here at Talladega Super Speedway. And, Yost keeping his own here in the 00 ahead of Andrew Teft. This is kind of a piece of art, because he's basically laid onto the throttle. He gets another bump from Teft. And, they're slowly but surely starting to chip away here at the distance between themselves and the 8 car of Troy Thomas. There's about 2 seconds between Thomas and Teft. And, at this stage in the race, you really want to see if 22 of these drivers can get themselves all linked up, which would be impressive by any stretch, especially when you've got so many, lap cars mixed in there and the things going on here on the racetrack. As Sean Merriman running in 5th position right now in the Papa Sean's number 18. They get themselves on by, Kensley Smith and Brandon Honeycutt go to the high side. Maybe these two drivers are going to try to drop back, save some fuel here with 30 to go at Talladega. And it may not be a bad decision right now, that's for sure. As maybe they're also trying just to look for a place to slide in the line. But that changes our race leader to Kyle Hess. We've been running single file for so long, and all of a sudden now this second line is coming up out of nowhere. And it's going to be anchored here by Rob Yost, as he is slowly but surely catching up now after getting some great drafting help from the 98. As now all of a sudden, they went from 3 seconds apart to now Yost in the 00 and the 98 of Teft suddenly thinking that they could take this 3 wide. This is going to be dangerous. Let's watch this from above. Certainly don't do it from the cockpit, as that could be just this side of horrifying. We look from the chopper cam as we've got the drone just over top of these trucks. And now the 00, it really is only going to take one more good whack. Never mind, the 13 steps back into line. But Andrew Teft deciding he wants to push the 00 of Rob Yost up to the lead. What a run on the outside. All of a sudden, Andrew Teft giving an incredible shove to the 00 here on lap number 47. Kyle Hess now being challenged for the lead by Rob Yost. And whoa! 4 wide down the front stretch. All of a sudden, the 23 checks up, gets behind Andrew Teft. You don't want to take out the chief cook and bottle washer of the league here. As now Yost is 3 wide with the 18 on the low side, the 32 on the high. We're watching some incredible racing. Now all of a sudden, Yost just tucks in here between the 23 and the 18. That leaves the 98 of Teft, the meat in the middle of this sandwich, and he's already a lap down. He doesn't want to go any further here, as now he has helped the 00 of Rob Yost get up here, and Rob Yost just abandoning him and dropping to the low line, now to challenge Sean Merriman for 3rd position. Going on board with Andrew Teft, now getting a good push here from the 19. That's Curtis Ecker behind him. And the Thor Sport Racing number 98 being pushed here almost up to the front. We may see him, he's not going to be challenging for the lead, but he at least is going to be challenging to get that lap back the good old-fashioned way as he gets one heck of a shot here from the 19. He's pushed alongside of each of these drivers, literally in the top 3. That's the 18, the 4, and the 68. And right now, he's only got 2 cars left to get a lap back here on lap number 49. We're approaching 25 to go in 2 laps as we come through turn 3. And this has just been an incredible run from Teft, who, comes into this tonight, kind of scorned after, not picking up the win last week at Darlington. And now here he is. And what a night it is here, as I didn't realize that the mic was off again, as Curtis Ecker now leads this race after basically following Andrew Teft to the promised land. Andrew Teft down a lap, now technically leads that bottom line with 25 to go here at Talladega Superspeedway. Dave Riegel in the Tony Trapassa Memorial Broadcast booth, flying solo tonight, which is just how I like it on a Tuesday night, as I'm calling these trucks instead of the Tuesday Night NASCAR Thunder trucks, with Andrew Teft a lap down, leading just ahead of Kyle Hess, and Curtis Ecker now being credited with the race lead, as basically the 98 can kind of hold up traffic here on the low side, allowing his brother in the 43 to try to get up here and lead some of this race. Curtis Ecker and Kyle Hess going 1-2 right now, as Ecker in the 19. Whoa! What in the world is going on here? Kyle Hess just diving down pit road, perhaps for an unscheduled pit stop, not sure. He comes along with Rowan Lloyd with now just over 25 laps to go. Maybe they're trying to make those trucks as light as possible on fuel when we get toward the end of this piece. But right now, Curtis Ecker leads this race ahead of Alex Teft and Dennis Kane. And in the mix right now is the 98 of Andrew Teft, who just came up here and came a hellin', if you will, as Rob Yost was his tow donkey, that's for sure. As Curtis Ecker, your race leader, just ahead of Chief Cook and Bottle Washer here in the Racers Elite Truck Series, Andrew Teft out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island. Ecker now leading the way and showing everybody how to get it done out of South Williamsport, Pennsylvania, representing yet another central Pennsylvania town, of course, home of the Little League World Series and the Little League Baseball Hall of Fame. And that'll be coming up next month, as Kensley Smith now also coming down pit road, and this is going to be wholesale pit stop sides, or times. However, this is where we're going to start to see who's working with who and who's going to be doing what on the racetrack with whom, because this is where you have to make a decision. Are the men and are the goats scared? As now it looks like the 6 car is going to be leading another group of drivers down pit road. That's Trevor Woodward in the Bud Chevrolet, as he's got the 55 of Truth Hoke just behind him as they find their way to their pit boxes here for the money stop. And here come your leaders, Curtis Ecker, Alex Teft, Kirby Wainscott, Dennis Kane, Sean Merriman, Sean Dunaway. Andrew Teft going to come down with them as well. So your top 7 going to come in here on lap number 53. Kensley Smith, Brandon Honeycutt, Blair Holloman, Rob Yost Jr., and Jesse Fox all down on 52, as well as Truth Hoke and Philip Archibald. As these drivers now going to shuffle themselves around. Brandon Honeycutt just getting himself back up to speed here as we pull up the dashboard for the 13. He's only at 174 miles an hour on his outlap after the pit stop, so it's going to take him quite a while to get back up to that 189, 191 mark. And as everybody here, I see, it didn't bring out a caution. Well, Madison, I'm sorry that I didn't catch that one. I apologize. We've been watching this race now for 54 total laps, just under an hour, and these guys have absolutely made artwork out of Talladega. This is my favorite racetrack on our circuit, and these guys have really done well with it. And here come the leaders. The 13 of Brandon Honeycutt going to be showing the way here. This could be an interesting move. If Honeycutt has a little bit more momentum, and he does, they're going to blow the doors off of these guys who just came off of pit road. They're the Teft brothers tucked in behind the 19 of Curtis Ecker, and Honeycutt going to make it look just that easy as he's going to take a nice little bump here from Kensley Smith and come back to the lead. Brandon Honeycutt, Kensley Smith, Blair Holloman, Curtis Ecker, and Rob Yost, your top 5, as we are 55 laps here, 20 to go at the line this time by Alex Teft, Sean Merriman, Dennis Kane, Kirby Wainscott, and Sean Dunaway round out your top 10. 15 cars on the lead lap with Truth Hoke, currently your lucky dog in the double nickel. And that Wrangler Silverado looking sharp as always as he's gone with the black paint scheme tonight instead of that blue and yellow. I know everybody's got a soft spot for that Dale Earnhardt Sr. blue and yellow, but there's something about the black and white Wrangler that just feels better. Whoa! Kensley Smith kisses the wall, but holds it together. Nearly caused a disaster with so few laps left in this race. 20 to go now out of 75. Now all of a sudden, like he was shot out of a cannon, is Truth Hoke in the double nickel, as he's going to draft up to the rear now of the 8 machine of Troy Thomas. Troy Thomas, of course, down several laps here, as most of these drivers have been out here, no problems, maybe used a fast repair after that initial wreck earlier on tonight. But all things considered, a really clean race with just a pair of cautions. Here is Troy Thomas, the only driver down 2 laps. Sean Merriman getting the push here, trying to draft himself behind the 98 of Andrew Teft out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island. A pair of lap cars over top, they're not going to be a problem, but Truth Hoke here trying to keep himself as far up as he can as the lucky dog. God forbid mayhem should break out. 19 laps to go at Talladega. Dave Regal with you in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth. We want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. If you haven't done so already, make sure that you subscribe, give us a thumbs up, and turn on those bell notifications right here on Sim Racing Media. Of course, we just crested the 4,000 mark, and we cannot be more thankful for that. As, of course, that's going to trigger all kinds of cool stuff. Of course, yours truly will be back in the cockpit on August 25th in the Cup Series, driving the Coke 0400 live right here on Sim Racing Media. Of course, that night I'm going to be away from the microphone as a play-by-play announcer. I'll be your in-race reporter and hopefully fighting my way toward the podium that night. That would be pretty sweet. As, wow, the double nickel just slides right down in front of Andrew Teft. Now Sean Merriman's got 3 lap cars in front of him, and he's got no help from behind. And what's going to happen here, if you watch what the 19 and the 32 are doing just behind him, the 19 and the 32 are linked up closer than close. They're going to wind up being able to draft right past him if he doesn't get his wagon hitched to those 3 lap cars in front of him. With 17 laps to go at Talladega Superspeedway, Sean Merriman, your race leader, just ahead now of Blair Holloman and Curtis Ecker. Right now, they would be your podium finishers if the race finished right now, but we have a long way to go, and before we get there, we're going to step aside and pay some bills one final time here on Sim Racing Media. Dave Regal with you right here on YouTube.com.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Just to the outside line, he brakes so much later. Basket can't defend. He's got the outside line for the second spot, and he can't hold on.
Going the long way around. We're going to be 3 wide for the lead as they all come to the line. Who is going to take it in the end?
And here comes Lockwood. He's going to make the move to the outside. Quinn tries to force him off a little bit, but there he goes. It's going to be side by side through turn 1.
Will he be able to cover him off? He does. Weaving back to the left-hand side. Reynolds is trying everything. The kitchen sink is being thrown at it.
They're leaning on each other. Coming into turn number 3. It's going to be a drag race through 3 and 4. Coming back to the line. Here comes Trish on the bottom.
Bouchard's going to hold the inside. Tries to be the late breaker here. They're going to be side by side through the final chicane. They bang doors, but keep it clean.
As they're still 4 wide on the run down into the back straightaway. Demerit's looking for a line as well. What is going on in Michigan?
Novak into the fence. They're still beating and banging.
Oh
and to the line.
He is much faster coming through there. Is there damage on Challenger? Abramitis is ahead. There's going to be a race to the line.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Whoa, and as we come back here at Talladega Superspeedway, the 69 of Jesse Fox goes airborne, slamming back down onto the asphalt. What perfect timing for us, what imperfect timing for him. Let's take a look and see what happened here. As we see the 12 working the high side. Now that's Brandon Sanfilippo, as Sanfilippo just comes down and maybe a little bit of neck code, and that sends the 69 around. Let's see if maybe we can just get another look at that from our chopper cam, as our drone operator was not too far away. In fact, we may be able to get this from him right here, and they are saying that yes, they can. They don't actually touch, so either air got taken off that right rear or it was netcode. One of the two. Either way, they never actually touch. That looks like netcode, and that's what sends the 69 around. So unfortunately for the 69 of Jesse Fox, that's kind of a rough end to the evening, as we're going to ride along with the gyro cam this time, because my goodness, that was quite a ride. Here comes the contact. Slamming back down onto the asphalt. That is no way that you want to do that. And let's take one final look here from the rear. And once again, we see the Bernadette Strong number 12 of Brandon Sanfilippo just behind him. They don't make actual contact, but everybody else able to get on by. So Jesse Fox, the only driver registering as having crashed in this incident, as we have literally just our second caution for cause of the evening. Jesse Fox is going to come down and obviously hit that fast repair, keeping himself on the lead lap, but that cycles Alex Teft up to the lead as we are 10 laps to go at Talladega, and now this is where the race really starts to get good. As now as the time has dwindled away, so is the patience for a lot of these drivers. And now, real quick, out of the Chicken Coop Racing stable, our race leader, Alex Teft. Hey, Alex, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you.
Hey, man, listen, you're in a great spot right now, but you've got a lot of angry Hornets behind you. What's going to be the strategy here with now 10 laps to go?
I got a handful of friends behind me, so hopefully they just stay with me. I can hold on to this bottom and fight off the people on the outside and on the last lap.
Yeah, I mean, it's been an incredible race so far tonight. I mean, you qualify 13th. I saw you guys decided to kind of split things up. Now your brother gets trapped, a lap down here with everybody else. So, what's going to be the hope for him to be able to come up and try to help you out if he can?
Hopefully he can. I'm sure he's starting so near the back, so hopefully he can just catch us on one of the last couple laps and, just push us to the end.
Well, listen, you guys are the mad scientists of the Racers Elite Series. I usually get to see you on a Thursday night, and I'm glad to hang out with you here tonight. So good luck the rest of the way, and you never know, maybe I'm going to see you here on this podium at the end and hopefully in victory lane.
That'd be great.
Thank you, Alex, as we're going to send him back on down to the Chicken Coop Racing stable. And we're going to get a chance now to see if we can get a hold of Dennis Kane, another Chicken Coop Racing driver, as we're going to move him on up here. Hey, Dennis, it's Dave up in the booth. You got me?
Yeah, I got you guys.
Hey, man, listen, I mean, usually I'm with you on a Thursday night, but tonight I get to make a cameo appearance here in the Truck Series. You've got a lot of teammates. You've got a lot of help up here. What's going to be the strategy? Is this full send, go get the win, or is this going to be help your teammate?
Oh, yeah, this is full send right here. Yeah, we got too many of us up here. So.
Yes. Attaboy. Listen, that big old grin on
civil for a little bit.
Look, that big old grin on your race helmet says it all to me.
Yeah, we're hoping to get a good restart here and save a little bit of fuel. So, and in case there's some green white checkers, and let's hope it's a good finish.
All right, brother. Listen, good luck, and hopefully I see you here on the podium at the end of this piece.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Absolutely, as we're going to move him back on down into the Chicken Coop Racing room here, as the iRacing.com pace car going to bring us down the back chute here. 9 laps to go. It'll be 8 to go when we go back green flag racing. Little check-in here from Liam Ervig, of course, going to be live on XMS in just a few minutes. Looks like he's going to be flying solo as well, so at the end of this, make sure that you tune in over there with Liam Ervig as he's going to be calling the XMS series. But right now, all eyes are on Alex Teft and Dennis Kane, as Alex Teft opting for the low side here as he brings the field into the tri-oval. 3-2-1 past the pit entrance as we get closer here to the Geico restart zone. And right now, the man in the stand has the green flag in his hand. And we see them come into the Geico restart zone. Alex Teft drops the hammer, and here we go, 8 laps left. Two lines getting themselves formed up here as they work their way through the 3-4 complex, coming back to the start-finish line. 7's a lucky number, and who's going to be the lucky driver that winds up on the top step of the podium tonight? We're here to find out with now what's going to be 7 laps to go. Alex Teft now leading Curtis Ecker and Dennis Kane, as Dennis Kane being scored P2. The racing's about to get tighter than a snare drum, as all of a sudden we see the finger-licking good number 10 driven by Kirby Wainscott in that KFC Toyota, literally lurking right behind the 19 of Curtis Ecker. Of course, the 19 looks like more he should probably be like a road cone or something out in the middle of the road. But right now, he's got himself up here in 3rd position. He's got to get a good shove here from Wainscott to try to get up there into 2nd, and maybe more if he intends to try to win this piece. I can't wait to see what's about to happen over these next 7 laps, as I'm Dave Regal up here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, making the cameo appearance tonight, as of course yours truly, usually the voice of Thursday night Racers Elite Cup Series action, and of course the voice of the SNN family of racing series, as the SNN Truck Series is off tonight. You've got me here for the Racers Elite Truck Series, and I can't wait to see who comes out the victor. With 6 laps to go, Alex Teft doing everything he can right now to hold the field behind him. He's got to be able to hold off Curtis Ecker, who now is getting a good shove from Sean Dunaway in the 01. The Gatorade machine, Gatorade, all the way up here. He is hydrated like all get out, and suddenly he is ready to start doing some shoving behind Dennis Kane in the 4. The thing is, you don't want to get too many of those chicken coop drivers up here in the lead, because they are going to be competitive, great, and even better as the laps tick down. The 00 of Rob Yost going 3 wide now. Let's widen things out as we go to the SRM Eye in the Sky. We see the 4 of Dennis Kane. He's the meat in that hoagie, and I'll tell you what, that is not a sandwich you want to be in the middle of, as the 69 now of Jesse Fox working the low side, backing up just into the 18 of Sean Merriman. The 4 truck needs a little bit of help, maybe some kind of stabilization, as he has got to be down there. Wow! In all kinds of turbulent air, the 00 just throws himself in front of Dennis Kane, waiting to get a push from him as they move down the front stretch and back toward the start-finish line. Rob Yost trying to hold on to things. We can see everybody now trying to go 3 wide and fight their way back toward the lead, as they are 3 wide, 3 rows deep, and then some, as all of a sudden Kensley Smith in the 15 on the march, getting a push now from Brandon Honeycutt. They tighten things up, and it's going to take Kensley Smith to sling to the outside, as he can see the 32 of Blair Holloman closing in on him. Holloman not a great pusher tonight. He's getting a good shove, though, from Andrew Teft in the 98 as they work their way through here with 4 laps to go. Brandon Honeycutt in the 13, now the meat in the sandwich, as things are side by side for 4 rows and then go to 3 wide mayhem behind. As we work with 4 laps to go, coming back toward the start-finish line, it's going to be 3 laps, and whoa! Kensley Smith hauling it here to the middle. He goes 3 wide. This race is only just beginning with 4 to go. And now all of a sudden, Kensley Smith, like a hot knife through butter, working his way back up to the lead. My God, they're 3 wide behind him. He's just over top of Alex Teft in the 43, getting a shove from Brandon Honeycutt. The 19's loose on the bottom line. The 00 cuts back in front of Alex Teft, and we have a caution on the racetrack as things were just getting just that hot. Oh my. What a night as Lee Campbell has grinded to an upside-down halt. Oh, boy. This is going to pull up NASCAR overtime. Let's look from the blimp here on the 14 cars. He goes 3 wide. They start to get a little bumpy, and he gets hooked by the 32 and sent to his roof. Let's see if we can look at this from Blair Holloman's nose. Here he comes up alongside the 14. Just sneaks himself around, and finally we get the okay that the 14 that Lee Campbell is getting out here at the infield care center. But we're going to take a quick peek here as the camera is dead on the 14. Here he comes, 3 wide. There's the 32, and here comes the hook. And my God, that was the end all of a sudden for the 14. The camera just going dead and leaving him now on pit road. Rob Yost Jr. going to be your race leader when we go back green flag racing. The question becomes, who has enough fuel here? Rob Yost and Kensley Smith each came down on lap number 65. Alex Teft came down on 53. So you've got one driver up here who might be pushing it on fuel. Brandon Honeycutt, also good. Curtis Ecker, Dennis Kane, and Jason Burdick all came down on lap 52 and 53. A lot of questions as the Harrisburg native leads this race, and all of a sudden, if you're in about 3rd or 5th position, you suddenly have a viable chance to win this race. You know, sometimes I feel like a drag racer. There I was in full throat scream at the microphone, and at the worst possible second, the caution comes out, and it's like the parachutes coming out from behind the funny cars there in the NHRA. Of course, we're still waiting to hear words of improvement about John Force, speaking of the NHRA. So I know a lot of folks have been sending their thoughts and prayers toward the Force family. Of course, what seems more like the first family of drag racing. And that's a sport that I really don't know a whole lot about, but I know who the Force family is. I literally cannot tell you another driver in the NHRA. You could quiz me and say, is this, okay, here's 2 options, Rob Yost or John Force, and I would be like, well, thank God you said John Force, but if it was anybody else in the NHRA, I wouldn't have a clue. Also, fan poll here on YouTube.com. Are John Force's teeth real? Just curious, because they cannot possibly be real. Of course, I don't know what would make me think of that. Actually, I do. His name is Captain Morgan. I want to encourage everybody who's tuning in for the first time tonight to make sure that you subscribe and turn on those bell notifications for us here on Sim Racing Media. Give us a thumbs up. That helps us with our algorithm. Good night tonight here on the stream. Glad to have all of you with us, as always. Just put out there in the poll, are John Force's teeth real? If we had just a few more moments of pace lapping, I would start polling the drivers, because now I'm curious. Maybe I'll poll the podium. Give me a thumbs up in the live chat if you think that's going to be a fun poll to ask the podium. It's going to be Rob Yost, Kensley Smith, Alex Teft, Brandon Honeycutt, and Curtis Ecker, your top 5. As we are going to go NASCAR overtime, what that means, folks, is the green flag is going to fly. We're going to race around back to the white flag. If a caution should come out between the green flag waving and the white flag coming out, that means that we will rack them, stack them, and try it all over again. If the white flag flies, the next flag will finish the race, whether it's yellow or checkered. So the goal here is to get to the white flag so we can race on back to checkers. Right now, fans reaching down in their seats, picking up the popsicle sticks as they're going to go in the air, as we're going to be 2 laps to go when we go back green flag racing. Rob Yost going to be our race leader. He was pushed up here by Andrew Teft, of course, chief cook and bottle washer. And right now, Andrew Teft, if we get another caution, would be the lucky dog. So it would be incredible to watch him go from, a lap down to end of the longest line, and all of a sudden in NASCAR overtime be able to get himself into position to try to win this race. But he was obviously a great helper for Rob Yost out of Harrisburg, Pennsylvania here in the 00 to get up here and now lead this piece. Not sure what Rob Yost's sponsor is here on the hood. Let's take a quick peek. And I can't read that. Hops and Barleys. I'm there. I'm also there for all things distilled and made in a copper kettle, or in the world of mash in a big glass bowl. Rob Yost coming into the Geico restart zone momentarily here as we work our way through the tryover. The iRacing.com pace truck is down pit road. Rob Yost hits the restart zone, drops the hammer, and NASCAR overtime is engaged. Kensley Smith in the 15 getting a push from Brandon Honeycutt as now he works his way along the 43 of Alex Teft. Alex Teft out of Hope Valley, Rhode Island, trying to hold his own, gets right against the yellow line, doesn't cross it. And, of course, that would be the out-of-bounds line, all things considered, but nobody has even tried that one tonight. As Alex Teft now hurls it here to the outside. He's got the 19 of Curtis Ecker behind him. They're side-by-side down the backstretch. They abandon Rob Yost, and they go all but 3 wide. There's Kensley Smith in the middle. Alex Teft hauling it down to the low side. We look from above, and wow, Rob Yost beating the back bumper of the 43 like his life depends on it as he's pushing the 43 out of turn 4 into the tri-oval. The 15 right now of Kensley Smith being scored your race leader with Brandon Honeycutt in hot pursuit. All of a sudden, we've got a 4-way battle for the lead with 3 wide, and the 0-1 of Sean Dunaway, the meat in the middle of that sandwich. Dunaway trying to get some kind of help here, but he's been abandoned. The 19 of Curtis Ecker is being shoved along by the double nickel. That's Truth Hoke. The popsicle sticks are down. The white flag's in the air. We're racing back to checkers. All of a sudden, we see Andrew Teft leading the way here with the 23 in tow of Jason Burdick, while his brother Alex Teft leads this race now with Rob Yost Jr. and Kensley Smith in tow. Kensley Smith nearly being shoved out of the way by the 4 truck as the 4 of Dennis Kane now shoving right up again. Oh! Kane has turned. Kane has turned. They go sideways. It's pandemonium in the ring. 3 wide here at the line. 4 wide. Kensley Smith, Rob Yost, they wreck at the line. Rob Yost is wrecked. Kensley Smith coming to the line. He's side by side with the 18. Kensley Smith, your race winner here at Talladega Superspeedway. Sean Merriman coming across the line in second, and Jason Burdick, after being pushed by the 98 of Andrew Teft, comes across the line third. Not one driver here was a favorite to win this race. This was a level playing field, and these drivers put on one heck of a show in Lincoln, Alabama. Kensley Smith out of Tarboro, North Carolina, getting it done here in the Racers Elite Truck Series. He's going to come down and burn the house down at the start-finish line, we can be darn near sure of. As we go here from the starter cam, here comes Kensley Smith back toward the flag stand. And here he is getting ready at the photo finish to come across the line once more as he is going to donut out here in front of Barney the Flagman on the front stretch. Just waiting for Merriman and Burdick to hop in to, there's Merriman. Now we're just waiting for Burdick to come on here into Discord so we can have a chat with him. There he is. Let's go ahead and get him up here into the waiting room. As I finally get a chance to catch my breath, this has been an incredible race. But let's get a chance right now to talk with Kensley Smith, driver of the number 15. I get a chance to talk to him during the Cup Series, but now tonight here in the Truck Series, Kensley Smith, your race winner at Talladega Superspeedway.
How's it going?
Man, it's going good. What a wild finish to this race. I cannot believe my eyes.
Oh, I was puckering up and just trying to keep it straight. It was definitely intense, especially even before that, before the green white checkered, that last little run there towards the end. It was intense.
Yeah, I feel like if I was in your shoes and I peeked up in the rearview mirror and saw all of that going on, I think I would have taken my foot and mashed it through the floor.
Oh yeah, I was just sticking my nose wherever there was a hole and just hoping that it would just go, and it worked out. I was able to stick my nose where I shouldn't have been, but it just stuck, and I was able to get it done.
And get it done you did. Listen, man, great run tonight. You qualify in 16th. You finish here in victory lane. I mean, it was an incredible night. And, of course, for me, coming in as a guest announcer for the evening, this was fun to watch. Of course, I'm going to get a chance to see you on Thursday night in the Cup Series. But, what a great run for you tonight here in the 15. Before I cut you loose, you know my drill. Who do you need to tip your cap to, and who helped you get it done on the 15 car tonight?
Of course, all my teammates that were here tonight, Jason Burdick, Brandon Sanfilippo, and Brandon Honeycutt. Honeycutt stuck with me as best he could there at the end. He was puckering up behind me too. He was like, "Why are you doing that?" And I was like, "I just got to go." So thanks to all three of them, and then of course my daughter for watching me do this, and she'll sit here in this chair and fall asleep watching me do this at night. So it's always a joy to do, and then of course Andrew for putting on the league for us, and you for broadcasting it tonight.
As always, it's a pleasure to be your broadcaster. I love working with you guys. You guys are incredible, and you put on a great show. So congratulations, Kensley, and I will see you Thursday night.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. As, of course, next across the line tonight, driver the number 18, Sean Merriman, in the there he is, in the number 18 Papa Sean's machine. Hey, Sean, it's Dave up in the broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Sir, I got you.
Man, what an incredible night for you from Winchester, Virginia. I mean, how do you find yourself here in P2? I mean, I know you qualified P3, but I mean, it looked like pandemonium at WrestleMania behind you.
Yeah, typical super speedway race. Got stuck on the bottom, which I hate being on the bottom of the plate track because you have nowhere to go. And I don't know, coming out of 4, I guess somebody was throwing a block up front, and Dennis had a lift, and I had no time to react to him lifting, and caught him in the back and spun him out, and probably started the whole first big wreck, and then just kept my foot in it from there, and another wreck in front of me, and managed to come by door to door with Kensley for second.
Buddy, I'm telling you right now, in 2021, Bob Nestor from the Tuesday Night NASCAR Truck Series did that right here at Talladega in the playoffs. They were wrecking in front of him. They were wrecking around him. He mashed his foot through the floor and did exactly what you did tonight. That's how he wound up being the Truck Series champion in that league. And tonight you just put on the same kind of show here on the final lap. I mean, that takes literally balls of steel.
Yeah, I feel like the safest place to be on one of these races is like third coming off of turn 4 because you know somebody's going to throw a block. You just hope they go the opposite direction you do, and you just keep foot in the floor and drive by them as they're wrecking in front of you.
Those were my exact words when we were getting ready to come back to green. I said, "Listen, the best place to be on this racetrack, with so few laps to go, especially in a green-white checker situation, is third or fifth, and you managed to pull that off. So, a great job by you tonight. And before we cut you loose, who do you need to thank, and who helps you get it done on the 18 truck?"
It's KM Racing, Keegan Merriman Racing, my son. So him and my wife Sabrina sitting in the living room watching. Hensley beats me tonight, but he was actually the one that made that paint scheme for me, so I got to thank him for that. Parents, brother, sister, my nieces Haven and Harper probably watching, unless they got sick of sitting around and watching these races net by now. But Andrew for Racers Elite putting on an awesome league, and you guys at SRM for being the best broadcast team I've seen around these iRacing leagues.
Hey, man, I appreciate the kind words. Trust me, when my buddy Alan reached out to me earlier today and said, "Hey, listen, I need a little help," I said, "I am more than glad when I know that it's the Racers Elite League, because you guys get it done and put on a great show every time I'm here at the microphone." So congratulations here on the P2 finish tonight, and hopefully I start to see you on the Thursday Night Cup Series tour.
Maybe eventually. Real quick, I gotta thank Alan because he's the one who came up with the nickname Papa Sean, so he was the one that kind of put the idea in my head for Papa John's paint scheme and colors, and just kind of stuck by now. But
hey, my man, listen, that's an Alan Bergen thing to do. So, of course, kind words for Alan as he's dealing with some water in the basement tonight. So, congratulations once again, and we'll see you next week.
Sir, appreciate it.
And last but certainly not least, of course, once again, I usually get to see him on a Thursday night in the Cup Series, but Jason Burdick here in the 23, as I was thinking of Alan Bergen, finishes third on the podium tonight. Hey, Jason, it's Dave. You got me?
I got a copy. How's it going?
Man, it's good. I'm glad that this is the kind of night where Alan needed somebody to fill in for him, because I have been thrilled from start to finish in this race. I don't think I took a breath.
Yeah, that was some intense racing. I mean, the fuel strategy came in perfectly with some late last-minute cautions. Green-white checker, pretty much all you can ask for. I think 2 green flag stops. Pretty much everything you kind of want in a plate track. We're bunched up at the end, but we're also playing some strategy mid-race.
Yeah, I mean, some of that pit strategy that you wound up, engaging mid-race, I mean, some of those drivers able to come in on 65, some of them on 53. I mean, you were one of those that were able to come down and get it done and still able to have enough fuel here for the end.
Well, I was a lap down, and I was a lucky dog, so I took my EOL I had with my lucky dog penalty and just filled it up at the first green-white or second for the green-white checker, and I actually went from 14th to 3rd there at the end, so it was intense getting through, but there was a few wrecks I luckily avoided. Barely got through the second one, so I'm happy that I did that, because otherwise would have not been good. But I'm happy that I even was on the lead lap. I thought my race was over. I didn't really speed through pits, but I sped through my pit box rather, and I went a lap down, so I'm glad that I got that lucky dog. Shout out Jesse Fox, I believe. I think when everyone was saving fuel after that last pit stop, we were able to catch the pack, and I was able to get in that lucky dog position.
Yeah, I mean, what a great finish to this race. I was impressed from start to finish. I mean, you guys just absolutely nailed it from the beginning to the end of this piece. Before we cut you loose, who helps you get it done on the 23 team, and how'd you get that Ford F-150 here?
I'd like to shout out Big Boy and Shoney's. Really good restaurant, damn good. Unfortunately, Big Boy in my hometown closed down, but other than that, shout out the guy on Trading Paints that made it. Also, thank you to Driving Extreme Incorporated for taking me in this season for all 3 series. They're really good teammates. I think I led the most laps, and I'm a good person to push, but Kensley, Honeycutt, and Sanfilippo are damn good pushers, and they're getting me those laps led and keeping us up front all race. So I'm glad that Kensley could get it done.
All right, my man. Well, listen, congratulations on the P3 finish. We'll see you next week, and hopefully on Thursday night in the Cup Series, you can do this all over again.
Of course. Thanks for having me. Thanks for hosting.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me, as this was an absolute treat from start to finish. I mean, these drivers put on one heck of a show. And, after 75 laps, I'm out of breath. I mean, there's nothing left here in the tank. These drivers have left me completely speechless because Talladega is one of those tracks that we kind of call a wild card in this sport because, things like that happen on the last lap almost in every Talladega race, whether in real life or here on iRacing.com. But before we get out of here tonight, one final look at our results here as we finally get a chance to catch our breath. Kensley Smith brings home the checkered flag, and he is joined on the podium by Patrick Merriman and Jason Burdick. Blair Holloman finishes in fourth with Alex Teft rounding out your top five. Brandon Honeycutt and Rob Yost Jr. finished 6th and 7th, while Trevor Woodward and Dennis Kane finished 8th and 9th. Truth Hoke rounds out the top 10 in the double nickel from Upfront Motorsports right here tonight at Talladega, while Kyle Hess comes home in 11th. Brandon Sanfilippo finishes 12th with Curtis Ecker and Sean Dunaway in 13th and 14th. Kirby Wainscott finishes 15th with Jesse Fox and Troy Thomas in 16th and 17th. 18th position goes home with Tyler Smith, and Andrew Teft, our chief cook and bottle washer here in the Racers Elite Truck Series, comes home in 19th. Rowan Lloyd gets it done and rounds out the top 20 with Philip Archibald, Lee Campbell, and my work wife, Matt Metler, rounding things out here for the 23 cars that took the green flag. For myself, Dave Regal, here in the Sim Racing Media and the Sim Racing Media family here in the Tony Trapasso Memorial Broadcast booth, we want to thank you for making us a part of your evening. Of course, we want to thank you for tuning in wherever you may be and however you may be listening, for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones every night of the week here on YouTube.com. And tomorrow and every day as you walk down the road of life, please don't play in traffic. Good night, everybody.